Hi everyone. In this session, we will learn how we can create some Azure basic services which we can use while developing the Azure Data Warehouse solution. This video is particularly for the beginners who are new to Azure and want to know about some services to start with their Azure data practice. We can use Azure SQL database, storage, data factory, Databricks, Synapse Analytics. All these services we can use while developing a data warehouse solution. We will learn how to create and how to use them. Before we go for this, let's understand why we will use Azure or any cloud services, because all these things we can do in a on-premise data center also. So let's understand what is cloud and why cloud and what is Azure. To have a basic understanding on why and what is cloud, let's have a live scenario. Let's say you want to create a website, an online shopping site, and you have all the details of the online shopping site. And you are planning to create your site with the on-premise data center. And when you are starting your website, you have to figure out few things, like you need a very high initial cost to start your application. And if your application is ready and successful, to make it more successful and to maintain your application, you need the resources, like you need a server to maintain your hardware and software, you need a database to store your data, you need a infrastructure team to maintain your hardware and software. Then you need to figure out your security details also, data encryption, server security, the network security, all these details. But if you are planning to do it in cloud computing, you can overcome with few of these challenges. Like if you are starting any application in cloud data center, you don't need to invest a very high initial setup cost. It is the pay as you go. Whatever resources you will use, you will be charged for those resources only for that particular time period. And the updates of the hardware and software happens automatically. But in the on-premise data center, we need to do the updates manually, and for that we need a big infrastructure team. And you can access the data remotely also in cloud data center. Let's say you are traveling in a train and suddenly you are getting a issue. That time you can log in into any device, mobile or laptop or any kind of device, you can log in into your Azure portal and you can fix the issue. Then what is Azure? Azure is a cloud service which is provided by Microsoft. Using Azure also, we can create databases, storage, virtual machines, web apps, all these services we can create. And for this, we just need a good internet connection and an account with Microsoft. Then we will log in into the Azure web portal and we can start working that. This is a data warehouse solution architecture. Now in this session, we will just see all these services, how we can create, and some basic examples. First, we will receive the data from the business in the form of files, logs, media files, structured data, unstructured data, video, audio, images, any kind of data we will receive. Then we will store those data into our Azure SQL database using Azure Data Factory. The Azure, that is we are ingesting the data. Then after storing them to Azure SQL database, we will prepare the data. We will prepare or we will transform the data using Azure Databricks. Azure Databricks is a very powerful tool which we are using to perform very complex calculations. It uses the linear regression calculations, the machine learning models. So it's a very powerful tool. After our data is ready, we will create the Synapse database. Synapse database is very much similar to our SQL data warehouse. Once our data warehouse is ready, we will create the Azure Synapse Analytic Workspace. In Azure Synapse Analytic Workspace, we can do the data analysis, or we can create any dashboard or report using any dashboard tool like Power BI. Power BI is a cloud dashboard tool. Once it is created, we can publish the dashboard, and that we can include in our Azure portal. So let's see how we can log in into the Azure, how we can start working with Azure. This is the Azure portal. Here, if you don't have any account with Azure, first you need to create an account with Microsoft. Once your account is created with Microsoft, you can go here, you can go here and create a free account for yourself. Azure provides a free account which is a trial period of 30 days. Within this free account also, you can explore many Azure services. If you will click on the products, you can see here many Azure products categories: machine learning, analytics, blockchain, compute. All these are the product categories. And this side you can see the Azure products: SQL, Cosmos DB, Kubernetes, cognitive services. All these are Azure products. If you will click on any particular product, you can see the details of it. To work in Azure, you can click on the portal. Log in into your account. This is the Azure homepage. So whichever service or we want to create, we can search the particular service here, or if it is not here, we can type the name here. To store the data, the log files which we are receiving from the business, we can create a storage account. So any kind of service, whether it is a storage account, database, data factory, Databricks, Synapse Analytic, anything, those are called as resources in Azure. So let's create a resource, storage account resource. Storage account. I don't have any storage account now. Let me add a new storage account. This is the create storage account page. Let me create a new resource group. Resource group is a logical container in which I will keep all the related resources for a particular application or solution which we are creating. If I will keep all the related resources in a single resource group, it will be very easy for me to maintain those resources. Let's say I want to assign some similar kind of properties to all the resources. I can apply those properties in a resource group level. Like I want to give permission for all the resources to my team members. I can give the permission at resource group level. It will be applicable for all the resources. Or I want to move my resources or my application from one subscription to another subscription, or from one environment to another environment, then I can create the ARM template of resource group, and I can move the template from one subscription to another subscription. And once my application is done, I have already moved to another subscription. I want to delete all the resources from the old subscription. I can delete the resource group. All the resources will be deleted. So let me create a new resource group for this demo purpose. This is a new resource group I am creating. then storage account name, location. I have many location option. For now I am keeping East US as my location. And for performance I have two options, standard and premium. Now I am taking the standard performance, that is the low cost. For this demo purpose I am keeping standard. Account kind is the storage v2, that is the latest account kind. And replication I'm taking the default one. Then I have the blob access tier options. I have two kinds of access tier, cool access tier, hot access tier. Generally the cool access tier cost is less than hot access tier. When we are accessing any file on a frequent basis, we can keep those files in the hot access tier. And if we are not accessing those files very frequently, we can move them to cool access tier so that our cost will be reduced. Apart from cool and hot access tier, we have another access tier, that is archive access tier. If any file we are not using, we can move them to archive access tier. In archive access tier, we will not be able to access the file. If in future we want to access the file, we can change the tier and access. Other things I'm keeping as default. My validation is passed, create. Deployment is started. It will take some few minutes to be deployed. It is deployed. Let's go to the resource. Here is the resource details. We can see the details of it, the properties, and we will create a container. This container is the blob storage, where we can store the any kind of data, whether it is a structured, semi-structured or unstructured, any kind of data we can store in it. Let's create a container in this. It is created. Let's click on the container. Here we will upload the data. Let me upload the data. You can browse the files. It is same as the file browsing in our Windows machine, so it is similar to that. We can select multiple files. Upload. All the files are uploaded. Here if we will click on the particular file, we can see the properties of it. We can change the tier here. We can delete the particular file, and we can right click. We can see the data and edit the data also. We can edit the data here. Here in a container, we can store only files. We cannot upload any folder. And all these are the file storage. It does not create any hierarchy. If we want to create any folder level hierarchy, then we have to do it manually. Let's say I want to create a hierarchy. Upload a file. Let me upload this file. Add once. Let me give year, month, date. Upload. It is uploaded. I can see here my year folder is created, month also created, date also created. Inside this date folder I can see the file, but these folders are virtual folders. If I will delete the file, let's see what happens. The file is deleted. Let me go to the month folder. You can see the date folder is deleted. If I will go to the year folder, the month folder is deleted. If I will go to the container, this whole year folder is not present at all. Now we will load the data from storage account to a SQL database using Azure Data Factory. For this, we need a SQL database, and we will create a new SQL database. Click on Add. Resource group. We have created this resource group. Database name, demo db today's date. For a SQL database, we need a SQL server. So let's create a new SQL server. For a SQL server, we need the admin login details, username, password. Okay. Database server is created. For this demo purpose, I am not selecting the Elastic Pool. For Elastic Pool, I will create another video. This video is a very basic video for the new user to Azure. So every services I will give very basic examples. Configure the database. This database configuration is very important because it directly affects our cost. Here the cost calculation depends on DTU and data max size. DTU is the database processing capacity, and the database max size is the database size. So let me take the basic one, and the size also I will take the minimum for this demo purpose, and the cost it is applying for me is this much. So apply. Next, these other things I'm keeping as default. This is the cost applied. Create. This deployment is started. It will take some 2 to 3 minutes to be deployed. I have already created a video how to create SQL database and how to connect from Management Studio, but I'm creating it again because I'm keeping all the services in a single video and with a flow, so that the new users in Azure or who all are freshers want to start working in Azure or want to start with any Azure data warehousing project, so it will be very easy for them to follow step by step. Our database is ready. Go to the resource. We have the database properties here. This is the server name, and here the database connection string. We can click here and see the connection string, and below we can see other details like the database performance and all. Let me copy the database server name, which will be used when we are connecting to the database from Management Studio. Let me copy the database name here, password. Then here in the option, we need to give which database we are connecting. This is the database name, DemoDB28. Let me connect to the database. It is giving me error as this IP address is not added to my server, database server from Azure portal. So first we will need to add the IP address from the portal. Click on add IP address. My IP address is added here. If I have multiple team members working in the same database, I can add their IP addresses here, and they will be able to access the database. Save it. Let me try to connect again. Here you can see I'm able to connect to the database. This is my database, and we can create any database object here. Let me open a query window. Let me create a table. This table we will create in the database so that we can load the data to this table using Data Factory. My table is created. Let me load data using Data Factory. For this, I need to create a Data Factory. Click on Add. Create Data Factory. Resource group. Data Factory name. V2 is the latest Data Factory version. This is the configuration for GitHub or DevOps repository. For time being, this Git repository or DevOps repository, I am keeping it for later. Next, I'm getting some error in this tab. Let me check what is the error. This name is not available. Let me take some other name. Okay, this is done. The validation is in progress. It is done. Create. Go to the resource group. My Data Factory. My data factory is created. Here to create any pipeline in the data factory, we can click on this author and monitor. Data factory is a ETL tool. It is very similar to SSIS. Like we have packages in SSIS, here in data factory we have pipelines. In SSIS packages, we are creating a many tasks. In control flow, we have data flow. Here also we are creating many activities in the pipeline, like copy activity, data flow task, delete, or executing other pipelines from the master pipeline. These kind of activities we can do from the pipeline. When we will click on the Azure Data Factory Author Monitor, it will open a new window for me. Here I have multiple options: create a pipeline, create a data flow task, pipeline from the template, copy data, or if we have any SSIS packages in on-premise, we can migrate them to Azure. Let me do a copy activity for this demo purpose. Here I have two schedule options: schedule it now or schedule it to run later. So if I am scheduling for a later run, I need to give all these details, but now I am keeping it run it now. Next, this is the source part. In the source data store, I need to create a connection string. This is the Azure Blob Storage. Continue. Create. Next, I will choose which file I want to load. Let me load person data. Next, here I can preview the data. Next, for the destination, I need to create a connection string. I want to load the data to the Azure SQL database. Test the connection. It is failed. Let's see the error. Here, when we are accessing the Azure database from any other Azure service, for that also we need to do a firewall setup. Let's do that. In the server down, we can see the firewall virtual networks. Click on this. We can see an option: allow Azure services and resources to access this server. Yes. Save it. Next, check the connection. It is successful. Create. Next, it is giving me two options: whether I want to create the table, or should I go for the auto create, or I need to choose the existing table. As I have already created the table, let me choose the existing table. Next. Fault tolerance. Any kind of data issues, we want to do the setup so that the data load should not fail. Like, let's say we are receiving the data in a row where the data size is more than the data size we have defined in the database table. Then in that case, the data truncation may happen. So to avoid that, we can do the fault tolerance. So if we will receive any kind of data, this kind of data, then it should skip and proceed with the data load. For now, I am not doing the fault tolerance setup. Next, click on this. It is validating. Let's monitor the data load. It is started. We can see here in progress. Let's refresh. It is completed. Let me check if the data is loaded to our table. The data is loaded. So like this, we can create the pipelines. We can go here, the pen picture is there. We can click on this. Under the pipeline, this is our copy pipeline. Similarly, we can create multiple pipelines. So here in a pipeline, we have many activities like copy data, data flow, we have delete, we have execute pipeline, execute the SSIS package, store procedure, all these kind of activities are there. Even we can perform the Databricks activities. We can execute the notebook from the data factory. So let me show you what all things are there in the data flow. Create data flow, mapping data flow. Okay. As we know, in every data flow, we have a source, destination, and some transformation. So here we can add a source. We can give the source data, source connection, or data set name. All these details we can provide here. If we will click on the plus sign, here we can see the transformation like join, conditional split, exist, lookup, derived column, pivot, on pivot, all these kind of transformations are there, and we have the destination as the sink. So this is how we can work in the Azure Data Factory. And once our pipeline is designed and ready, we can then, the next step is validate all. If we will click on the validate, it will start validating all the activities. If anywhere we forget to do any settings or map any data set, so this kind of error we can get, and we can validate before executing the pipeline. Once it is validated, all the tasks or activities are validated, we can go and publish the particular pipeline. Once we will click on publish, the pipeline will be saved to our account. And after it is published, we can trigger the pipeline. And when we are triggering the pipeline, it is better to switch on this data flow debug or to do in a debug mode. So when we are keeping it on and triggering the pipeline, so that time it is very easy for us to see the data flow activity wise. Let's say my debug is on and I am executing the pipeline. During the runtime, whatever activity I will click on, for that activity, the runtime data I can see in this place. So it will make easy for us to debug the data. So this is how we are we can work in Azure Data Factory. And once our data is stored from our storage account to SQL database, we will work on the Azure Databricks to transform the data. This part we will do in the second session. So for this first session, this is how we can work in the Azure SQL database, data factory and storages. In the second session, we will work in the Azure Databricks, Synapse database, Synapse Analytic Workspace. Thank you.